Well, run us through the kind of feeling you're getting on the ground at the moment in terms of investor sentiment, what investors are thinking on the ground in Nigeria right now, because the market seems to be fluctuating on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, Alishia, there is indeed a lot of volatility in the market presently. Well, on the one hand, you find that there are investors who are looking to take profit, and as such, you find that there are significant sell orders on certain select stocks. You find, on the other hand, that there are also people looking to mop up, at current valuations. We still think that there are a skew in favor of, the more institutional type buyers who are looking to mop up. On the one hand, as against, the more domestic retail investors who are looking to take profits, for obvious reasons. We think that there will continue to be a lot of volatility, headed into the end of the year. However, that may obviously swing in favor of the bulls as against the bears, given the fact that, a good number of the companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange now report, financial year ends as at December. Practically all banks do that, all the insurance companies, petroleum marketing, just a few FMCG, but then if you look at cement, virtually, all companies in those sectors all report the December year, and so you find that investors will begin to stake, critical positions as against, the year-end numbers, obviously, with some expectations for some corporate action as well.
Well, of company news aside, there seems to be quite a few broader issues that surfaced in terms of market news. The Senate Committee of the Capital Markets yesterday informing the SEC of its intention to conduct a full-scale investigation into developments at the Nigerian capital market. What exactly is emerging there? How are you reading those developments?
Yes, indeed. Obviously, there are a lot going on with regard to the broader macro issues surrounding the Nigerian capital markets. There are ongoing reforms, at the NSE, where we've seen, and it has been announced recently that a new DG will be announced in the course of December. However, there are obviously certain, groups within the within that community that still feel that the previous DG wasn't properly allowed to go. And then you find that the Senate subcommittee, obviously, on the economy, financial markets, wants to, as it were, bring some kind of oversight to what exactly is happening. You find that there is a lot of controversy. You have, shareholders of institutions on the one hand, particularly the banks, suing the CBN, suing the banks themselves, basically questioning, the basis on which a lot of the decisions that are being made. And in some cases, they may have a legit, claim. However, that said, I think there is a lot that is going on. Also, you've got the elections and the politics on the one hand, which has also, in a way, tended to ensure that there are not necessarily so much in terms of a focus as to a more broader spectrum resolution to some of the underlying issues.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, concurrently, we've had a headline emerging out of the Business Day of Nigeria newspaper today saying that the central bank governor of Nigeria, Sanusi, has said he would resign from office without a fight if compelled by the National Assembly. To what extent has the market reacted to that news already?
Well, that is still pretty fresh off the press. As yet, there hasn't been any marked reaction, from our side. Market has yet to open today. That's talking about the stock exchange. So we may not see any reactions. I think a lot of what's going to happen, is some kind of will basically be, market watchers will just tend to sit back and, just seep in a lot of that information, allow it to sink in. There may not be any rushed reactions, as it were, to that piece of information. I think at this point it's important to note that that is pretty grave coming from the CBN governor. Indeed, I'm not sure that the Senate would like to create an impression that the office of the CBN governor is up for a lot of as it were, political interference, because it doesn't paint, a pretty good picture for the country from a risk perspective.
Well, we'll certainly be tracking that story as it develops and, of course, market reaction to it. We had Starcoms, in the meantime, out with results yesterday showing that its 9-month pre-tax loss widened, even if it was slightly. Overall impressions there, because Starcoms seems to be one of those companies that's really just struggling to get a steady enough foothold in its market.
Well, yes, indeed. Starcoms is one of the few remaining CDMA-based technology telecom operators in the market today. A good number of its competitors or peers have, as it were, folded up. Starcoms remains in the forefront of the data, market segment of telecoms in Nigeria. The company continues to report, losses even from the EBITDA, from EBITDA line itself. Its results, for the period compared to last year, obviously showed some kind of worsening overall. If you look at from turnover was down about 6%. EBITDA, itself was also down, slightly, and then, like you said, net loss also widened. However, there are a number of positives to take away from that result. Looking at the subscriber numbers, for example, we found that overall total subscribers grew from about 2.4 million to over 3 million. Even though the number of active subscribers literally fell as much as 40%. But then you find that what they've lost in terms of voice, revenues from voice telephony, they have made up for significantly with growth in data. Data grew as much as 24%. Data revenues, I meant to say. We still think that there may be some ways to turn around that business. Obviously, there's something the company has done recently, which was to, in a sense, do a sale and lease back of some of its base stations.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, Victor.